Okay, I'm going to say this on. I'm going to try to actually be in front of the camera a little bit today so you guys can see me. I know you probably don't want to, but I'm going to try to. I don't know how well I'm even showing up here. I think I'm in frame. Um, Not to say I'm always going to be right in the middle of the camera, but I wanted to see you guys today. I wanted you to see me. Um, if you have, I know that I'm not naive. I know that a lot of you guys are not watching these videos, and that's something you're going to have to deal with. That's something you're going to have to decide. It's the last week, but if you're going to watch one of my videos, I've literally put up 50 videos, not just for this class. I think I've put up like probably 20, 25 for this class, something like that. But I've put up over the last month. I've put up over 50 videos, probably over 60 now. If you're going to watch any of those, watch this one. Watch this one. I think this is the most important lecture that I give all year long. And sadly, normally I give it with all you guys here, and it's kind of a break of the monotony of learning about simple machines and stuff like that. We didn't get as far, by the way, into the stuff that I wanted to get into for this quarter, and that's just because of the circumstances. I would assume that you guys could understand that, but I had to get to this. I had to. Before I start talking about the secret of life, and yes, I am going to tell you what I believe the secret of life is. So take that for what you will. From my years of experience, hopefully you guys, you you enjoy this because it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable, but hopefully it's something that I can teach you guys just about all the years that I've been alive, that I've learned over that time. But I do want to kind of talk about this week a little bit. Listen, if you're missing some stuff, even if you've like emailed me, I get lots of emails. This whole communication thing has been more difficult because I don't see you guys every day. It's been really stressful, really challenging for you guys, for me, but also for you guys, I'm sure. Okay, so if you have a zero or if you're missing something, and even if you've contacted me, contact me again this week. This is the last week that we have. You guys will have till Friday to get everything in that you need to. In fact, we're just going to say Friday. Friday's the cutoff. Friday's it. So Friday, midnight, I don't care if you're still sending me stuff at midnight or before midnight preferably, but Friday at midnight is the cutoff to get that stuff in. I will give you, I've said this before, I don't know if you guys realize this, I'll give you full credit on things that you're missing because these circumstances are crazy, okay? Normally that would not be my normal class procedure, but doing this is not my normal class procedure, so you guys can understand. But so take advantage of that, though. Please don't have a zero going in this quarter. You guys should do great this quarter. Okay, you should do great. This will hopefully help you do great in life. That's the hope. That's the goal. So I'm going to go through this. Let's pray. I guess that's probably a good thing to do before we start this. So bow with me. Lord God, I lift up this group. I pray, Lord, that the wisdom of my years, the small amount that you have blessed me with, shines through in this lecture, that you help me, Lord, to speak. I pray that you speak through me to the, hopefully, lots of ears that are listening to this, that are watching this. Lord, I just pray that you be with them and that you help them, Lord, to grasp this information and absorb it as much as they can. And you help me, Lord, to present it in a way that enables them to do that. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. This is very much his lecture more than it is mine because he has the secret of life more so than I do. But anyway, jumping ahead of myself, don't want to do that. I want to tell you guys what I think the secret of life is. But first, I want to explain the things that you need for life. And the first thing that you need to do, and this is really hard for students of your age. Okay, you guys live in a world where it's very much egocentric. It's you're in the middle of it, and it is for me too. And I completely understand that. You want the praise. You want to achieve for yourself, and that makes sense. But I want you to at least begin the process of putting that away. Okay. And this is not an easy thing to do. It's something that I struggle with every day. Okay, it's not. I can't give you I can tell you to do this. It's easier to say than it is to do, I promise. I can't give you the this is how it works for you sort of speech. But I want you to begin to think beyond to think beyond yourself. Every time you interact with someone, I want you to understand that you leave an impression on that individual, even if it's just for a moment. That image stays with that person. The way that you talk, the way that you hold yourself, the way that you communicate, your general attitude towards things, they have an impact. They absolutely have an impact on the people that you interact with. And you need to start considering, and this is what's really key here, you need to start considering what kind of impression you want to leave on people. Now, I'm not talking about on your deathbed here. You can apply that to that, and you'll be thinking about these things, I think, if you get to the point where you're there. But even now, I want you to think about them now, knowing full well that hopefully you got lots and lots of years ahead of you to improve on this. But I want you to realize that when you come into contact with someone, whoever that is, maybe that's your mom, maybe that's your dad today, maybe that's one of your siblings, maybe it's a stranger, I don't know, maybe it's a friend that you talk to on a regular basis. When you come in contact with them, you have the opportunity in that moment to impress upon them who you are. And I just want you to start to think about who you are and who you are presenting yourself to be. These are important things, yes, I know some of you guys are going, this has nothing to do with physical science, and it absolutely does not have anything to do with physical science. This is the one time a year that I do this every single year with my physical science classes. I kind of talk about things that are beyond physical science, but I think are they are far more important. Okay. So I want you to know, when you're thinking about yourself and how you present yourself and how your impression sort of falls on people around you, I want you to know that who you are right now doesn't need to be who you are later. Okay? Maybe you got it all figured out. Maybe you really love the person that you are. Maybe you think that you are perfect the way that you are right now. And if you feel that way, then that's phenomenal. Congratulations. You're much more put together than I was when I was a freshman in high school. So, or even a junior or senior or sophomore. So, if that's the way you feel, great. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. But if you don't feel that way, if you look in the mirror and you're really critical of yourself for a moment, and you see some of the flaws that you have, some of the shortcomings, know that you can change. That you still have time. And you're still pliable enough in your existence that you can change the way you are. But I want to give you a little word of caution here, and this is kind of the first of many things that I'm going to say that relates to my years of experience over your own, and that's that it's harder to change when you get older. The older that you get, the more set you become in who you are and what you are. So if you want to change, if you want to be this other person, if you idolize someone and you want to act in a certain way that they do, now's the time to do that. Now's the time to take steps towards hopefully improving yourself to be the person that you want to be, not just the person that you are. Okay? And again, I'm not saying that you're not perfect the way that you are. Maybe you are exactly as you should be. But I think that everyone can look at themselves and critically realize that there's certain aspects that you don't like. Okay, I can do that. I can do that at my old age compared to yourself. I can look at myself and critically think that, man, there's a few things that I'd like to improve on. Okay, let me tell you, it's easier to improve now than it is when you're my age. So take that opportunity before it's kind of goes away. All right, so hopefully you can see all this. It kind of goes down in the bottom, but this is really important. All these slides are really important, I think. But this might be one of the most important. You have to find something bigger than yourself in life. Okay? You have to. You have to find something to hold on to that will hold on to you back. You have to find something that you can embrace, that will embrace you. Okay? And what I mean by that is something that will embrace you, and listen to this, never let go. It will never let go. Even if you do. Even if you let go. It will never let go. You need to find something that is more than you. And I'm going to explain why that is here in just a second. But for some people, that's religion. That's what it is for me. It's my faith. I hate the term. I don't hate the term, but I don't like the term religion because people think of an institution, they think of a church. That's not what my faith is. My Christian faith is a way of life. It's a way of thinking. It's a set of principles that I try to live by, imperfectly, horribly imperfectly, but it's something that will always be there. It will always exist, no matter what happens in my life. And I truly mean that. No matter what happens, think of the best circumstance that you can think of. Think of the absolute worst circumstance that you can think of. Regardless of either one of those, I will have my faith. That's something bigger than me. But it doesn't have to be faith. I realize we're at a Christian school, so I can talk about that freely, and I love that. I love that. But for some of you, you're not there. You're not. That's not top of your list. And by the way, this is not a list of like ordered things, and this is not an all-inclusive list. This can be your top thing can be something else, and maybe your top thing isn't even on here. Okay, but whatever it is, make your list. Okay, for some people it's faith. For some people it's work. Some people pour themselves into the work. Some people argue that it's family or friends. They pour themselves into that. When I was your age, it was my friends. My friends were everything to me. I lived for the time that I got to spend with my friends. And maybe you feel that way. The trick, though, and this is where this becomes hard, the trick is finding something that cannot fail you. Again, something that even if you let go of it, it will never let go of you. And there's a problem with family and friends. The problem with family and friends is that they're people. Now I'm gonna get really. Maybe this is upsetting. I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope it's not upsetting to you guys. But maybe if you've experienced this, maybe it's upsetting to you. But the problem with people is that our family and friends is that they're comprised of people, and people fail. I know that from experience because I'm a person and I fail daily, if not exceedingly so. I fail all the time. My wife, I love my wife dearly. She loves me dearly. It's a weird thing to say, dearly, but they do. We love each other. We've been together for a really long time, despite our age, and I have no thoughts that will ever change. I pray that it will never change. However, has my wife failed me at times? Absolutely. Have I failed my wife? I'm sure countless times. If she was here, I'm sure she'd recount the times that I've disappointed her, that I have failed her. And even she might even get quiet for a moment and really self-reflect and tell you a time where like it wasn't even just like a funny circumstance where I just messed up. But it was a time where I truly failed her, where she couldn't rely on me because of some circumstance. And I don't even know what that might be. It might be some deep-seated thing that she has, that she keeps. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. My infallibility is not a bad thing because I'm a person, and people will always fail. So, and I say here, think of your number one person, whoever that might be. Maybe that's your mom, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your best friend. They're not perfect, and I promise you that they have failed. These are things that will never fail. So the things that you have on your list have to be things that never fail, things that will never change. So these are my two things. These are my two things. These are things that I can always fall back on. And again, like I said, my first one is, of course, my faith. It's not a religion. It's my faith. I corrected it here. The second thing is, for me, writing. I love to write. I love to I don't write as much as I'd like to anymore because I have 3 small children. But when I was your age, oh my gosh, when I was your age, I wrote every day. I wrote every single day. Writing has saved my life more times than I can think of. It has put me in a place that was better than the place that I started with. It's one of those things that can transform someone. It can change your attitude. It can change your way of thinking just by writing out your thoughts. For me, that's what it did. I know for some of you, you've never written a page more than what the school has demanded of you, and that's not your thing. Maybe it's music for you. That was another big thing when I was your age. I would get lost in music. Now, I mean, it's funny to me because I don't listen to music at all anymore, really. But When I was your age, it was a truly important thing in my life. It was a big part of my existence. So, what thing can you hold on to? And I caution you, like I said, don't put family or friends there. The other thing that can happen with family and friends is unexpected tragedy. And again, I don't want to get too serious, but sadly, as a lot of you guys know, my brother in law passed away this year. His family relied on him. They still do, and they're still hurting because of his absence. But that's the problem with people, unfortunately, is that we can't always predict what's going to happen. We don't know what circumstances are going to come our way, and yeah, I mean, you guys know what I mean. Frozen up on me. All right, so grab a hold of something that will never let you go. Again, you'll let it go, but it will never let you go. And then I want to talk about the golden rule. The golden rule says that you treat others like you would like to be treated. I want to tell you that this is horribly wrong. Okay, this is not what you should do. I want you to treat others better than they treat you, better than they deserve, better than you deserve. If you do this is called putting others first. And we're going to talk about serving here in a second. But if you do this, I promise you'll be the one that benefits. You will be the one that benefits far more than the other person. Serve others, and you will always be better for it. And this is packed up in Scripture. Matthew 20:26 says, "It shall not be this way among you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant." That's Jesus talking, by the way. The greatest among you shall be your servant. That's in Matthew 23:11, same passage, or same story. Mark 9:35 says, "Sit down." Jesus called the 12 and said, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be last, last of all, and the servant of all." Guys, if you want to know what it's like to be like Jesus, at least in this example, or at least to be a good person, you have to put others before you. Now, why would you want to do that? Why would you? Because again, the world tells you that you should put yourself before everyone else. That you should look out for you first. Well, that's not what Jesus says, and that's not what I believe, and that's not what I think is the secret to a good life. Because the reason that you need to put others first is because life is about people. We don't live on an island all alone. We live our life for others. I hope you guys understand that. There are times, I'm sure, that you don't necessarily want to be around other people and you want to kind of be self-secluded, and you can absolutely do that. There's a peace and an understanding in solidarity, which is a good thing. But a life cannot exist on its own. We are the relationships that we make and nurture. Life without anyone to share it with is not worth the effort it requires to live it. That is so true. Again, I think of my wife and my kids. They are, in fact, there you go. Sadly, I don't have the baby up here. I didn't update this from last year. But these are my life. This is what I live for. And I don't have my wife up here either. That might be her there. But she's who I live for. It's not for me. I put others above myself. And that's what you need to do too. You should live to serve other people. And maybe, it's fortunate for me. It's easy because these are my children. I love them. And it's harder maybe for you guys because you don't have this yet. Okay? And that's a good thing. I don't want you to have this yet. Maybe later. But I still put others before them, not even including them. There's others that I put before them. That's what it's for, though. Now, if you do those things, okay, if you've practiced the golden rule, the real golden rule, and if you put others before yourself and you take on a servant's heart, you're never going to have regrets. But I want to talk about regrets real quick. It says people often regret what they failed to do and never what they did. You will never experience anything that you don't, one, enjoy, and two, or at least two, learn from. So I want to encourage you guys to go try things. Take those people that you put above others, put above yourself, and take them with you on this journey of exploration. Because go out into the world, and I'm still doing this. Make a bucket list. Make a list this summer of things that you want to do. Go out and live rather than just sit inside. Okay? All this means is that you only regret what you don't do, and this is so true. People that are thinking about their past experience, their past life, people on like their deathbed, they talk about things they didn't get to do. I know from experience that's what they talk about. They don't ever talk about things that they got to do. They talk about the things that they regret not doing. So don't regret things. Go and enjoy life. Go and learn from your experiences. Hold on. There you go. All right, last thing. And I know, guys, this is kind of a preachy sort of subject, and I'm sorry if you're not into that. But I'm just telling you things that I've learned, things that I've gleaned from the years that I've been on Earth. And this might be, I say this for a couple of these slides. This is a really important one. And it's all about happiness. Because a lot of people say that like the secret of life is to be happy. Okay? But then the question kind of falls back on, well, how do you be happy? You know, what makes someone happy? What constitutes happiness? I promise you that it's not what the world will tell you it is. Okay? The world tells you that if you want to be happy, you have to make a certain amount of money. You have to have a certain kind of house or a certain lifestyle. You have to have certain cars and things like that. The world ties monetary value to happiness. It says that wealth and things, possessions, are what make you happy. And I can tell you, first off, some of those things, like, they do. The reason it's confusing is because some of the things they do kind of make you happy. You know, there's nothing. I'm looking forward to buying a new cell phone this year. I'm excited for that. I like buying. I bought a TV last year, or actually a couple months ago, and that was a fun day. It was nice. I got to go pick up a TV and go install it, and then I got to watch. It was fun. There's joy in material things, but that's not happiness. There might be some joy. There might be some momentary joy, a little bit of time where you experience joy from something. But that is not true happiness. Happiness, long-lasting, continual happiness, I have found only comes from this. It's finding contentment in who you are and in where you are in life. I don't care if that means that you are living in a mansion with 6 cars or if you're living in a 3-bedroom apartment with your dog. Okay? Contentment is finding happiness where you are and in the situation that you're in currently. It's being happy with what you have. Okay? I know people that they achieve something that the world says will make them happy, and they miss what they had before. So be content with where you are and what you have, and you will always be happy. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. You'd think that, you know, my years of knowledge would accumulate into more than just like 6 or 7 slides, but it hasn't yet. I'll keep adding to this as I learn more. But I hope, guys, I really do. I hope that you learned some stuff from me this year. I hope, even despite all the COVID-19 stuff, I hope that you've enjoyed this class. And I look forward to seeing you guys next year. If you are, like I said, if you're missing anything, make sure that you get it to me. But you know, thanks for kind of coming with me on this journey. I hope that you learned a little bit. All right. Talk to you next time. Bye.